I know it seems like we're kind of stretching on content here, but
Because we are.
because we're just waiting for our pizza to show up.
Right.
But
We didn't want to do another episode about pizza.
yeah, but I can't wait for that pizza.
Episodes of pizza that you can do.
This is the Buffalo Community Podcast, all about the greatest small town in the USA, the people in it, and how it all works together. Here are your hosts, Tyler Reese and Mark Benzer.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo Community Podcast. Super excited to be back in studio with these fine gentlemen, Luke and Mark. I recently had a birthday, and I told the boys I would wear the shirt that they got me. And boy, did they think they were funny little shysters. Can I say shysters?
I think if you can wear that shirt, you can say shysters.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's it. Well, it's not an English swear word, but I don't know if we're going to get bleeped out. But for those who can't read, it says, I suck at fishing. But they thought they were the funniest little two kids on the planet, giving me that T-shirt. So, boys, told you I was going to wear this.
Yeah.
So
it looks good.
Yeah, but maybe it's a little too aggressive. I might take it off just in case somebody's offended about it. So why don't you keep going while I change my clothes?
Okay, sounds good. Well, while Tyler is
changing didn't know we're this kind of podcast.
Yeah, changing for the first time on. Oh, both shirts are coming off now.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, North Star.
How'd that get in there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, much more comfortable.
Yeah.
What does this one say?
Hey, double bubble champ. Wow. I feel like I'm sitting with a pretty big deal here.
Yeah, well, fun fact about me is I won a bubble gum blowing contest when I was probably
It was
10.
like last week.
Yeah, I beat a bunch of 10-year-olds. No, I was about 10 at Walmart.
Here in Buffalo?
Here in Buffalo. They had a bubble gum blowing contest. The rules were you got 3 pieces of double bubble, and you got a couple of chances to blow the biggest one. Just take a guess on how big, and see if you actually remember me saying it earlier. How big the bubble I blew. And like total, like around. Not like circumference, just
Diameter.
Yeah. Not like a globe, like more like a flat map.
That was from the advanced math class.
Yeah. Call back. So I remember you saying it, and I remember being Luke faked interest, and he faked being pretty impressed really well. It was like 16 inches.
No, you got to guess?
Okay. I remember you saying it was big enough where you had to like back away, otherwise it was going to engulf you when it popped.
I got a pretty big head,
So large. I'm going to say 25 inches.
It was 26 and a half inches across.
In diameter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Across. And what they did is they took like this almost like scissor thing. Like it looked like a scissor, but like it just measured how far away it was. And so I won a T-shirt that was even small for me when I was 10. But my mom, at the request of my son Sawyer, gave me a new one.
Nice.
So that was, and I can still
Relive
blow
the glory days.
Yeah.
I can still blow a pretty big bubble.
Right.
But with facial hair and then just having gotten a lot of gum in my hair, there's a strategy to keeping clean whilst blowing big bubbles.
Sure.
So I know it seems like we're kind of stretching on content here, but
Because we are.
because we're just waiting for our pizza to show up.
Right.
But
We didn't want to do another episode about pizza.
yeah, but I can't wait for that pizza.
Episodes of pizza that you can do.
Yeah.
But we talked a little bit about just kind of dumb, stupid talents that we might have that we generally hide from the public.
Yeah. Well, now everybody knows.
Bubblegum blowing.
Yeah. I don't have one.
Actually, Mark
that
is an
comes on.
excellent singer.
Yeah.
You know, talents are so much easier to show off when you're a little kid. My 2.5-year-old loves to do like somersaults. And I was trying to show him that I could also do a somersault. I'm like,
you
wow,
couldn't.
it's been so long since I've done a somersault.
Prove
Holy
it.
cow.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
is that why your back hurt this morning?
Yeah, I just can't move like I used to.
Yeah. It's like, imagine, could you ever walk on your hands? Like,
Oh, I tried, during wrestling, I would run around on the mat and try and walk my hands.
Yeah.
But I was never that coordinated.
could you do a back handspring during wrestling?
I'm not sure what that is. Are you talking about like
Show them.
a get up? Like when you're on your back and you jump?
No.
No.
No. Like
I don't know
you're
what you're
standing and you jump backwards and you're on your
Hands
hands.
touch the
like
mat
almost
and
a
it's-
backflip. But
Yep, definitely not.
I could never do that either. I was a little bit jealous for those. Now tumbling is kind of a thing now if you're going to be an elite wrestler.
Yeah.
But what was our theme that we're going to talk about today?
Oh, you and I had both in different years gone down to Destin, Florida. We drove. We both chose to drive.
Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of people have had similar, one of the things that I like to do when I'm on vacation, and I'm sure you do the same thing, is just, okay, we're in Destin. Like, how much does a house cost here? How much, besides, because I can tell you how much food costs in Destin.
Yeah.
And I can tell you how much everything else costs. But,
Rhymes with a Smith load.
yeah. But I don't know what that means. But, so just you kind of get, and then as you're driving through, I remember, I think we both had a similar experience on our way through Tennessee going like, I could live here.
Yeah.
I could, something about it. The freeway is very nice here. I think I could live here.
It was very smooth. Besides the traffic.
Yeah.
I hated the traffic coming back up north, but the roads were in excellent condition compared to what we experience here.
Right. It's almost like they don't get the extreme weather that we do or something. I don't know.
Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you drove down. Did you make a pit stop somewhere?
We pit stopped in Clarksville, Tennessee, got checked into our hotel at 1 a.m, checked out at about 8. So, and it was not a nice hotel either. It was a place to lay our heads
It was a pit stop.
to finish the last few hours of the drive. So
Is that a more than a day drive? How many hours is that?
22 to 24. Well, probably not. I think if you Google MapQuested it,
It's like 21 and a half.
if you MapQuested it,
Print it
it
out
says
and-
22, but then you got to add
Blow my map off here.
add traffic, add stops. It's a 24-hour drive if things go pretty well.
Yeah.
So, and you did straight through on the way home.
Yeah. Yep. So our plan was we took off Easter night and we were going to drive down to Nashville. We're going to leave at 6 o'clock at night because if we're going to get there, I want to spend some time there as well. I didn't want to arrive at 1 a.m. Before going to Nashville, I had no interest in going to Nashville at all.
Really?
Wife really wanted to. Jenny, I can call her by name.
Yeah.
She really wanted to. So I'm like, you know what? This is a perfect time. Maybe I never have to come back here again. So let's spend some time here. We got into Nashville around 11. We took a pit stop. Illinois driving is terrible. You
Awful.
think like Chicago and big city and everything. It's just farmland, and it
Flat.
was just that was through the night, and it was kind of boring, uneventful. So take a pit stop, take a couple hours snooze, but then we arrive in Nashville. So around the lunch hour, get checked in, and then we're starting walking around, and oh boy, like Music City Center is awesome. I mean, it's just a huge, beautiful building. We walked around, and the fact that it was April 1st, and there's leaves on the trees, and it's warm. You got shorts on and a t-shirt, so a lot added to the trip there. But then just kind of then you get down to Broadway. I think it's called Broadway or Main, wherever all the party's going on. I'm like, man, it's not just twangy country, and not that I'm anything against that, but, it was exciting enough where I'm like, I think I could come back here for a weekend, with some friends, a couple of, couples that we'd go with, because, sit in one of the establishments and I had a really good bourbon drink, down there. Bourbon's kind of their thing.
Sure.
Really good one. But I'd go back. I wouldn't bring kids again. There's not much for kids to do, and I don't think hanging out at a bar with really loud music. Well, mom and dad have a spirit.
A bourbon.
It's a very fun thing to do, but we really enjoyed it. I'd go back there again, probably just for a weekend.
You could bring the guys from the Bourbon Note down there and
Yeah.
Yeah.
go having school you on some whiskey,
Yeah.
some bourbon,
Bourbon.
not
Yeah.
whiskey.
Get it right.
But yeah, so yeah, we did that, and then we ended up getting up early on Tuesday morning and finishing the 7.5 hours. So after a 13-hour drive to Nashville, 7 seemed like nothing. And we get into, and it was a super smooth trip south. And so we're up Tuesday morning, and there's a bunch of traffic like coming into Nashville from the south. And I thought, ooh, just must be rush hour traffic for them. Like, glad we're not in that.
Right.
So we're headed south. We're going to Florida, and kids are falling asleep. The hills of Tennessee, just like in the song,
Right.
beautiful to drive through. Beautiful. We get there, but then you kind of get into the depths of Alabama, and it kind of looks like northern Minnesota. Some pine trees, and you're like, I can see this at home. It wasn't super interesting, even when you get into Florida. I mean, it wasn't palm trees. But we stopped at a Waffle House in Birmingham, Alabama for breakfast, and it was just we made these pit stops, but traveling went really smooth, and traffic down there, it was nothing going down until you got into like close to Destin.
Yeah.
And you realize that you're in an island community, and traffic is just bad all the time.
All the time.
It's one way in and one way out. But we got there. It wasn't super warm when we went. I mean, it was like 72, 73 at the highest. I was glad to get sunburned, but it was still kind of chilly with the wind coming off the ocean. A lot of fun family things to do.
No shortage of things to do.
No, not really. A lot of things to look at.
Yeah.
I don't, for a Minnesotan on a spring break, I think I'd go farther south to kind of guarantee that it was warmer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, when we went, we lucked out because the forecast wasn't. It was supposed to be in those 70s, and we ended up with a couple days 80 plus. But I
would have really liked that.
Yep. But
So, and all the fun things, and Fudd Puckers was a tourist trap, the wall drug of Florida,
right.
or at least Destin. Really fun trying to hear your kids try to say that, and very, very concerned that they're saying something bad. But it's an alligator show. It's a restaurant with average food, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was fun. But let's fast forward through the vacation on the way back. Can't stand Alabama traffic coming back up into Nashville. You had 3 options. You were doing 95 with traffic, 45, or 0. So what should have taken 7 hours took 10.5 hours. So the trip back was kind of awful. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And it was just, there's no rhyme or reason. It was just an accordion of traffic. You're doing 95, 45, or 0.
Someone stopped for a duck, and then everyone stopped for 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, it was just terrible. It was really annoying, and but otherwise uneventful on the trip back, and ended up driving from like 9 a.m. in the morning till about midnight. We'd stop for supper, of course, and then somewhere in Illinois, maybe.
Probably.
Missouri, right before St. Louis, which is really cool at night. Right before St. Louis, I took like a 2.5 hour nap, got up, drove for a couple more hours, and then I asked Jenny to drive, and I blinked, and 4.5 hours we're in Waterloo. So, and then it rained all the way home. So, but it was really fun. The kids loved to be in a car in a road trip. I don't know if I'd ever have to drive back again. But I think, Lord willing, to maybe put a budget together of that was our Christmas gift to the kids, and let's stop buying them toys, and let's, maybe try and do some more experiences, stuff like that.
Yep.
So as a dad with young kids, what's it like taking a 20-plus hour road trip with preteens and like kids that are active?
Well, for us, it was fairly easy. We've never done a road trip like that before, so I was kind of nervous. But nowadays, judge me if you want as a parent, but we have a Nintendo Switch. We borrowed a Nintendo Switch from the cousins, and we hardly heard a word, right? So right, wrong, or whatever, it was quite easy, way easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was by the time you started almost getting home is when they start getting really squirrely.
Yeah.
But they're still super excited on the way down, so zero problems there.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, there was a lot of sleep. I mean, it's quiet because we still had screens for him as well. We rented a vehicle because I didn't trust our vehicles to get down there without a hitch. So,
And it's kind of fun to rent a vehicle.
yeah.
Driving, just a different car is kind of fun.
Yeah.
What'd you go down there in?
So we got to the airport to go pick it up, and I said something like a Suburban. I mean, that's the options they give you. Something like a Suburban.
Yeah.
So they get there, and they're like, well, here's a Grand Wagoneer. Now, we had driven a Wagoneer before, and I wasn't a huge fan of them. I was just like, I wouldn't buy it. It's fun to drive, but we had a temporary till Jenny got a new vehicle. It was fun. They're like, here's a Grand Wagoneer, which is like the top.
Yeah.
All, screens everywhere, projecting the speed limit. I'm like, man, your radio, I mean, the monitor is like the size of yours, Luke. Everything, the whole roof was glass. And like we get there, we're ready to get out of the ramp. And the guy goes, oh, I gave you the wrong one.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's still pretty nice though. And, so we switched to the regular one. It's still pretty nice, but it went from super luxury to just like a nice new car.
Now you're just a peon.
I mean, it was fine, and actually turned out to be better, I think, because it was a bench seat in the middle row. So Emma would, she would lay down versus kind of like a cockpit station right there. But,
Captains.
So yeah, we did that, and so it was fun.
Fun to get in something different and drive around.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome.
So, but I think it was a fun experience. Again, I don't know if I'd ever have to go back there.
I think the world's too big to go back.
Yeah.
It was great. And if somebody asked me how my Destin experience was, I would say, go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great spot, but it wasn't this place I have to return to when I could go check out another Florida destination or, Arizona, whatever it is.
So that was the whole point of this was how we could feel like we could live there.
Yeah.
So every time we drove in and out, and we're like, the condo, we did a VRBO, and awesome experience. I mean, it was it's like 1,000 square feet, maybe 900 and something, reasonable priced. But I'm like, this is all the space that we need. And I think as a retirement, I was like, Jenny, I think I could live in Florida, and I don't know if we'd have to be on the water. We were on the water here. Even if you're a couple blocks off of it, way more reasonable priced, as far as you could go buy something. You're like, I think I could winter down here. I could definitely be a snowbird. And the feeling was just like that. And I said the same thing in Nashville too. So maybe I'm just sick and tired of winter.
Yeah. And it was an easy winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although my fear during the winter when it was 40 degrees in December and January, I'm like, we're going to pay for this in April. We're going to, give me a hard winter with an early spring more than an easy winter that just kind of lingers.
You're saying as it's actively snowing outside.
As
right
it's
now.
actively snowing. Yeah. And I just, these winters that just won't quite go away.
Yeah. If anybody's considering taking that trip, because I don't want to pay for a flight down there, it was easily done. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate of a 24-hour road trip to there. Now, driving to Miami would be way different because it's another 15 hours from where we were.
I said this is as far as I want to drive.
Yeah.
When we got I said it was rather doable.
Yeah.
But if 24 turned into 30, that's too long. I think 24 is about as far as I'll drive.
Yeah, we drove down to Tyler, Texas area, and that was 20 plus hours. But that was when Jack was a baby and he slept the entire way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was very easy because it was basically Keith and I were just driving on our own essentially.
Yeah.
Because he barely made a noise, which was, I think, pretty abnormal. I think babies usually cry over long trips like that. But yeah, so just curious of how it is with like older kids.
Yeah,
I think it gets easier probably. I mean, I think they start to, once your kids start having that realization of there being a pain in the butt and they kind of know it, right? Like as opposed to a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old where they're unhappy and you're going to hear about it.
Yeah.
As opposed to I sit here and
Yeah.
play my Switch and I wish I was there, but I don't want to be a pain in the butt, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, we made it a budgeting experience for the kids too, because this is what we said we're going to do for spring break, but we gave it to them at Christmas time. So, they got to earn some money that they could spend any way possible, for the trip. So and it was just like, well, because when I say no at home, it's so we can do some things like this. So they were very involved, and they knew what it cost. They knew what the vehicle cost. They knew what gas cost. They knew what the snacks cost. Again, we were a yes family for the vacation, but it was, hey, here's what it is, and is kind of funny, like a nice family, like a seafood meal. I can't stand that. My kids really love seafood in a seafood place. But, it was, it was like a $200 meal for the family, which is a lot. And Charlie and sort of like, that was pretty good. You should tip them $10. After they walk in and they go like,
for the input.
yeah. And after they walk in, hey, Dad, is this one on you or do we have to pay for this one?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'll pay for your food.
Yeah.
But I said,
It's kind of my job, I guess.
Yeah. But I'm not going to Sugar Planet with you.
Yeah.
So, but
go.
it was really fun. So they learned a lot about that entire experience, and they're getting old enough to be like, stuff doesn't grow on trees, So,
Yep.
so that was a really fun experience.
Money doesn't grow on trees.
Oh yeah,
Stuff
does. Bananas, coconuts, oranges.
Look at you. Keep going.
Yeah, bubble gum, I think.
Yeah.
But
So, do you guys make a point of going somewhere on spring break, or is it maybe
this is the
something
first
moving
year.
forward that
Moving
maybe
forward.
you will? Yeah.
Moving forward. We're this is we had never done that before.
Yeah.
So
Now you're committed.
yeah.
If you don't buy Christmas presents, well, you better
Yeah. It's like
pay up. Yeah.
I was like, it was a great December.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a terrible April.
Cool.
But it's very fun. So I don't know. I think that's probably enough for a podcast episode.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging in there with us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening, and comment below.
How big your bubblegum bubble was
Yeah.
when you were 10.
Or where you like to travel, or where else you could live. Or your bubblegum bubble.
Yeah. For the podcast, Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler.
I'm Mark.
I'm Luke.
Thanks for listening to the Buffalo Community Podcast, produced by Edlin Media. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts.